You want to start or end with it?
I really have zero preference whatsoever. It's a good one. Do you have a direction you want to go? I mean, it could lead us somewhere if we want to start with it, unless you had
I don't have one.
all right. It's just about, it's titled That Which Defiles, but it's about thought.
Okay.
And keeping our thoughts, stayed upon the Lord, as it's been referred to.
Okay. You guys are live now, just FYI. So you will be live. So if anybody does click in, just FYI.
All right.
If anybody does click in, good morning.
There you go.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Hey, Jeff, that adjustment on the background, it doesn't look like I have an option for that on my phone, my iPhone.
Yeah, it's a little trickier on an iPhone.
Yeah.
All right. People are hearing us already.
People are hearing us. Okay.
People are here.
Good morning. So I'm going to bug out. I'll be here listening in the background.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. We'll start right at 10 if that's okay.
Sure.
Is that what it pushes out?
No, it's live right now. The way this works is we have to connect to a YouTube stream.
Okay.
This is supposed to go at 10, but because we actually came in through Zoom, it kind of kicks it on. So that's why I said, we have a few minutes. So I'll just hey, everybody. First of all, welcome to Conversations with Dr. Joe and Reverend Charles. We appreciate that. As you see there on the page, there are places where you can put your questions. Throughout the conversation, I'll be monitoring that for Dr. Joe and Reverend Charles. So if you have a question, please put it in there. I will then get it to them. And when it's appropriate, they will jump in and answer that question. We really appreciate you being here and also the conversations we're about to embark on with Dr. Joe and Reverend Charles. So we'll get started in about 3 minutes. So if you need to warm up your coffee or maybe take a little personal break, you've got a couple minutes and we'll be right back.
Yay. All right. Here we go, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you there, Charles?
I'm here. Good morning.
All right. It's 10 o'clock. Let's get started. Hey, so Charles is going to start us off with a meditation, and then we'll go from there. So head off, Reverend Charles.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Dr. Joe. It's great to be with everybody this morning. For a point of reference, this is from the back of the book, The Science of Mind. And it's from a section entitled From the Teachings of Jesus. And so Ernest Holmes takes a particular teaching of Jesus from the gospel and then unpacks it for us. So that's where this comes from. Here we go. It's called That Which Defiles, and it's from the book of Matthew. Not what we eat or drink, but what we think defiles. The issues of life are from within. If a man is clean in his mind, then he is clean indeed. We must keep the mental house free from any thought which contradicts the truth of being. Life is what consciousness makes it. This is a great realization. Experience may appear to disclaim this fact, but the principle involved is an immutable one and cannot be shaken any more than the integrity of the universe can be violated. Let each resolve to be true to herself, true to her inner light, true to the truth as she understands it. When every person learns to speak the truth, a complete salvation will come to the world. If one thinks impurity, that his acts will be impure. If his thought dwells on purity and truth, then his acts, reflecting his mind, will make him pure and true. Every plant which is not of God's planting shall be rooted up. In the long run, everything that does not belong to the heavenly kingdom will be destroyed. Truth alone can endure. And so it is.
So it is. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it also, Dr. Joe, there's a couple questions that already came in, and I think it speaks to those questions already too. Like one of them was, if we find ourselves dwelling on a thought that we don't want or something, how do we change that? Is that what the question was? I can't.
Well, there's a couple of them here. Hold on. Let me get back to this. Someone just said, feeling so grateful and happy, but how do I deal with the underlying feeling of feeling like I should be concerned when I'm not really worried about life? I guess I'm feeling a little guilty when everyone around me is so scared, but I'm not. Wow. Well, actually, you just hit on that. What page was that, Charles?
That is on page, unless the pages have changed, my book here is from, like 1830.
Yep.
Just kidding. 453.
Okay,
453.
Something that you said in there. Hang on, let me go grab it because I think hopefully I can find it.
Well, then also the next question was if I find myself, like thinking about an upset stomach or holding a grudge against a friend, how can I quickly change my thinking? And I think that Ernest Holmes here unpacks that. He's basically, we've talked about before, is a discipline of thinking, disciplining your mind to focus on the experience that you want to have and not going down the rabbit hole of that negativity.
Well, exactly. And to that point, I know people that talk about this whole virus thing and the extent, and they watch the critical numbers, they watch the statistics of people dying, and yet they're not really paying attention to the people who have had it in a mild form, and those numbers are unknown statistic. And so it's almost as if when we emphasize the severity of one side and not the possibility of another, that we could walk through it like we do a normal flu or a cold, then
Yep.
we're actually, Dr. Holmes is saying our expectation is going to be met. We're going to draw into that which we've decided to embody. So we don't need to feel guilty if we're not worrying. And I would just say this, I would be happy if my consciousness, and if your consciousness, whoever the person asking the question is, don't feel spiritually guilty because you feel like you're doing okay. Actually, right. Allow yourself to remain there, and then go easy on yourself on the days that you don't. Once again, I noticed yesterday and the day before, Easter Sunday and the day afterwards, I noticed a lot of my friends and colleagues and people they hit another wall again. Let me see. So we hit it on day 17, and now we're on day 20, something like that. And they hit another wall in that little 48-hour window. And, basically, though, most of them were able to process it through as soon as they had the ability to talk to someone else who wasn't in the slump that they were in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, you know, when the blind lead the blind, they both end up in the ditch. And so
Yep.
as long as one person is not in the ditch, you sort of have to hitch your wagon to them and talk to them and let them bring you out of it so you can continue moving through it. So
Yeah.
to that person who is feeling like they should be concerned, they should be feeling that way. No, I think we should feel a sense of optimism that, hey, look, we will get through this. We are getting through this. And let your expectation be, I'm going to be fine on the other side because I'm feeling fine now. And then go easy on yourself if you don't feel that way in a certain moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another question: how do you both quickly and easily turn a negative mindset into a positive one? For example, a concern about an upset stomach or the well-being of a dear friend. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, as soon as anybody, but that's always been the case. A friend of mine is an ER doc, and he always said that, you know, when people walk into the ER, no matter what it is, it could be a spot on their finger or it could be a pain in their side, they immediately go to the idea that, oh my God, I've got cancer.
Mm.
It's always it's always to the extreme of cancer. And he's like, no, if you only understood how many people, everyone thinks that when they walk in the door because we have such a mindset around it. So how do we switch over easily? We don't allow ourselves to go. First of all, don't allow yourself to go onto WebMD. Secondly, because I swear to God, if you go onto WebMD, you will not only have one thing, you will have a list, and you'll walk into the hospital going, okay, I think I have this, and this. They're like, no, look, you've got a common cold, go home, you know, just go home.
Stay in your lane. Don't let the diagnosis come from the experts.
Exactly. Instead of the WebMD. So how does one quickly do that? And I think it's just an awareness that you have. And you know what it's like. It's like the light bulb goes on. I either flip the switch and go into a panic mode, or I flip the switch and go, this is fine. This is no big deal. It's a simple upset stomach. It's a simple this, it's a simple that. It doesn't have to go into the virus. It doesn't have to go into a condition that is, you know, like cancer or something that's, you know, really, you know, challenging to move through. We have a tendency to click into the fear because we're so inundated with it. And of course, if you share your problem with someone, the first thing they think is, you know, have you checked to see this? And I had a friend that did this. And next thing you know, now you're almost building an argument that meets that expectation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also too, Dr. Joe, back to, I think it was Grateful Newcomer that had the, you know, the feelings of guilt, you know, the things, please, I'm going to actually beg you not to feel guilty, but to keep feeling good, because it's the thing. We just did the spiritual economics class last week. Economy, it has to do with confidence or lack or fear, you know, and it's the same thing with everything else that's happening right now. In the same way Dr. Joe said it in different words, I say, you'll find what you're looking for. It's the other way of saying that consciousness is cause. So you, by feeling not worried, by feeling actually free in life right now, become contagious with that, because those are the conversations that you have. So please release the guilt, lay it down, feel good about not being worried about your life, because that is literally the thing that's going to turn this thing around. People agreeing on that behalf. So charge forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, next question. Please forgive me for being untender, but I've been trapped in this crisis with two first-degree relatives, my brother and my 99-year-old mother, the latter of which I can barely stand. How would it be okay for my spiritual growth if I found a means to get away? Well, let's see.
I have those. I can tell you that all three of the people that are in my household have those thoughts every day. All three. That's me, two grown adults and a 6-year-old. I guarantee you. It's not easy. You know, and I can just tell you, I apologize if I cut you off, Dr. Joe, but there have been fights in the house. You know, there have been times when the volume of conversation has been turned up and disagreement happens because look, I don't care how much I love you. There's no one literally on the planet that I want to spend that much time with. I enjoy space. It's important for everybody. And again, I think it goes back to what Dr. Joe said. When you're having times of wanting to, whatever, run away, get away, kill someone, whatever it might be, that has to be acknowledged too, because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. It's hard.
Yeah. Don't kill them, but just walk away for a while. I know what you meant. The thing is, it's true. I mean, even with just one other person, Trey's here, the two of us are here. There are times when I'm like, okay, you know what? We just need to, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. And even though we're in their house, we sort of like, this has to be my space. You go do what you need to do in your space. But I just need to be quiet. I need to get away from everybody and everything. And if you're asking us if there's a means to get away, I would say this: you have to do what your heart tells you to do. And sometimes your heart tells you, okay, my intellect is saying, oh my God, this is driving me crazy, I have to run. But your heart also may say, but I also have a responsibility, or feel I want to be responsible for making sure that everybody's well taken care of.
Yeah.
So even though it will drive you crazy, you're going to have to find a mechanism by which you can plug in. I have found this new app. I forget what it's called. It's a meditation app. And there are times when I just go, okay, I need to plug in and just allow myself to go on a 30-minute journey with this app. And it just walks me into a place where at least I'm settled, and it's a reset button in the course of my day. So I would highly recommend that you find that reset that you can connect with and take yourself away for a while. Remember that you may be too young for this, but do you remember that commercial, Calgon, Take Me Away?
Sure.
You remember that? Calgon,
Yeah.
Take Me Away. And this woman would close the door, and you could, Calgon, Take Me Away, and you saw the bath bubbles going into the bathtub. You're going to have to find your Calgon moment. That's the only way to do it. If not, you will go crazy, and your sanity will return. This is temporary. This is not forever. This is a temporary situation. It may feel like forever. And when you watch the TV and they say, oh, this could go on for X amount of months or weeks or years or blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly your anxiety level just builds with every time they say it could take this long or that long before we do this or that. But just know that this storm will pass, and the time will come when there will be that distance again, that ability to return to the life that you had before this. And that solitude that goes with that. But all you can do right now is kind of just hang on. So, okay, hang on, here we go. Let's see. Regarding expectations, you've taught us to think big, affirm big, and expect big. My therapist says many of my disappointments and hurts come from expecting people to respond or act toward me in a certain way. Is there anything in the spiritual law about this? If not, what are your thoughts? Well, actually, you hit the nail on the head. My expectation can only be for myself. That's right. Control what you can control, and that's all. Yeah. As soon as I have expectations for others to meet a level for me to get happy, many times it's not met because people don't operate on the same level that I operate on, or they operate just on a different frequency, a different vibration, and to them, what they believe is acceptable is not acceptable to me. So I am always thinking big. In fact, Charles, I was thinking about this yesterday. Trey and I were talking about it, and as we've cleaned out, we've had the opportunity to kind of clean out a lot of stuff, and we realized we don't have a vision board anymore. We've lost our vision board, and I thought, whoa! If there's ever a time to be thinking about creating a vision board for an individual and a couple or a family, this is the best time to do that. Yeah. Because we don't have all this outside influence taking our energy and time away from something. If people are spending, I know people that are doing 1,000 piece crossword puzzles by the day, right? Yep. Why aren't we? I told him, I said, dude, we need to get out we need to go and get a vision board and start putting together what our new life looks like after this. What a great time to do this.
Yep.
So talk about big expectations. Maybe we should maybe we should all, in fact, maybe we should do this. Maybe like in a couple weeks, we need to we have a vision board class online about, okay, how do you do this? And literally go through the process of creating one online so that people can have an idea about how important that is. Because when we were cleaning out our stuff, we ran across vision boards, which are no longer vision boards. They're demonstration boards because everything on them was accomplished.
Yes. Yep.
Everything. Everything. And so you look at that and you go, oh man, okay, so this stuff, when you look at it that way, you go, this stuff is really working. I think we need to, this is the time to begin to do that again. And maybe we should all be doing that. Maybe, Charles, maybe for you and I, we should be having the staff and the ministries create vision boards about, okay, what is this going to look like? Now's a great time to do some visioning with people, and start escaping the reality of the moment, because the visioning process it requires that we rid ourselves of the current conditions in life and say, if these didn't exist, what would I like my life to look like? There isn't a better time
Yep.
to be doing that than right now.
Yep. What do I have to let go of? And now's a perfect time, like you said, of letting go. And in the letting go, what's created? A void, an open space to create from. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's a lot of stuff that's missing. I know people are going through, well, obviously we've had someone who's having relationship challenges, families and living in an environment. But when this is done, what do your relationships look like? We know people a lot of people are having extreme financial concerns right now. And okay. And maybe it's just, I don't want to say that. I've been, as a minister, I've been through several phases of this, where economies have collapsed because of 9/11, because of a recession, because of the Gulf Wars, and because of all the things that have happened over my lifetime. And I look at these and I go, and while they're temporary and severe in nature, the sun comes up the next day. And you just have to know that the next day or the next day or the next day, there's possibilities to expand and other things will come up, in this process. I've been watching a friend of mine who went through a similar situation. Their whole financial livelihood was pulled off from underneath them a couple of weeks ago. And I just got a message from him yesterday and today. He's like, I got really creative. I have an idea and people are starting to buy it. And so my money's starting to flow again. And like, you're one idea away from creating whatever that is.
Yep.
All right, here we go. What do we have? Can you read these, Charles, or no?
Yeah, I got to just pull it up here.
With the financial situation many of us are experiencing, what is the best affirmation for abundance so we know we will get through this and won't get so behind and further debt waiting for this to be over? Well, first of all, let's not focus on the accumulation of debt, because the universe works in a positive flow. So right now you may be out of the flow of something, but we have to get you back into the flow, and that's a consciousness. And the dwelling upon the lack of flow is not going to create flow.
That's right. Yep.
Take it.
Yeah, and when we get down to it, money appears to be the thing, but money's a symptom of something. Money's always secondary to, if it's debt, whatever the dis-ease is about being in flow. And there's healthy debt and unhealthy debt, and that's a different topic for a different time. But an affirmation to simply know that you live in divine substance, as Eric Butterworth says, as a fish lives in water. That you live in divine substance as a fish lives in water. So just in your thinking, in your feeling, in your practice, in creating an affirmation, remember it. Do this. Remember a time when you are in flow. Remember, conjure up the feeling of it, conjure up the experience of it. Remember a time when you were in flow, when you felt wealthy, when you felt taken care of, when you felt in joy and everything was peaceful and you felt financially free. Remember that time. Pick it up like with a forklift in your consciousness and drop it into this moment right now and create an affirmation from there. That's the feeling tone that you want. That's the thought, the line of thinking that you want to cling to and hold on to. That will fire you day after day for sure.
So it's interesting that question came up because Mary Manamorsey, who's one of my favorite prosperity teachers,
yep.
She always refers to The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And I happen to be, that book's been sitting here on my counter, and I happened to pull it open today, earlier before you talked about your meditation. And it was all about how gratitude, the science of getting rich, wealthy, healthy, financially secure, is one of the first premise ideas is all about gratitude. Is all about gratitude. I may not have all that I want, but I have what I have, and I bless it, and I have been very grateful for it. So I just want to share this one thing. First, you have to believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. 1, 2, 3. Recognizing that it's there, aligning with it, and then be grateful for it. So while you're in this temporary lack of flow, and it is temporary, see yourself moving into literally visualize yourself moving into a stream of financial flow and abundance and security. Visualize yourself constantly in the flow of something instead of fearing getting close to that stream.
Absolutely.
That fear keeps us from even walking up to the edge of the stream and getting in, because we're afraid it's going to swallow us up, or we're going to be fighting our way up to it. No, visualize yourself getting into the stream and flowing with it. Wow, lots of questions here. Vision board questions, good idea, really powerful. Okay, I found someone has, let's see. I found it helpful to set up blocks of time. I run at 5 a.m. Well, good for you. I run at 5 a.m., increasing endorphins, come home and meditate. Almost everyone now finally has the time. Check an email, walk the dogs. Currently no business. So instead I'm working in my business. I'm working on my business. This person does a LinkedIn class. Okay, so basically what this person is saying is this: create a structure while you're in this. And to me, that's what we've had. When I'm in lockdown like this, structure is really necessary, because if not, by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I start going crazy, going, oh my God, all I've done all day is eat.
Totally. The fridge is my new best friend.
I like all I've done is circle the refrigerator and gotten into the couch and circled the refrigerator and the couch. And I am, this, for those of you who are tuned in right now, this is a way of creating structure. A 10 o'clock class every day.
Yeah.
Structure. You can get up, you can have your breakfast, you can work out if you want, you go to class at 10 o'clock to 11, you get out of here. And I mean, so my just to share with you guys, my structure is I get up, I have a little breakfast, I do this class, and then we have some sort of a cleanup project around the house. It could be just cleaning up or doing the laundry or whatever it is. But then we also, we work out every day. We do some sort of form of exercise every day. And then we do some sort of cardio. We get on our bike or go for a walk. We have dinner. We have a ritual around our dinner now. There's actually a ritual instead of, when you have a kid, you're like, okay, we're rushing to do 10,500 things. Now there's a ritual because there's nothing.
Slow down.
And it occupies a lot of time. You're like, no, I don't want to order out. No, let's eat at home, even though we're not really great cooks. Because that just burns an hour of making it, and have some music going. We've done some simple things by lighting a candle, and when we do go to the grocery store, we pick up some flowers. So we have a little $4.99 bouquet of flowers sitting by where we eat dinner, and we make it an event. We make it an event. So everything can be made into an event where that is occupied. So I love the fact that this person is talking about structure.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, what else do we have here? With every adversity comes opportunity. Absolutely. It's funny. I talk to a lot of people who aren't working, and I talk to a lot of people that have never worked harder in this time period. Their businesses are booming because of this. Their creativity is flowing because of this. And so we sort of have to knock on the door of our consciousness and say, if I don't have this one job that I'm supposed to do that I can't do because of this, is there something else that I could be doing in its place or create?
And there are stories and stories of that over and over and over again. Someone gets fired and they didn't want to get fired, and all of a sudden they're like, what now? And they get hit with an inspiration and they go down a different path, something that they want to do anyway, and all of a sudden they're like alive rather than just sleepwalking through life. So again, it's, what are you looking for right now? We can be, and believe me, I go through this almost on a daily basis. Sometimes there's a moment of bitterness, and every day, like, come on, I just want to be back on the golf course. I want to be able to move how I want to. So just that moment, but then it comes back to that, what do I really want? What do I want right now? No, I don't want to be bitter, and I don't want to be upset, and I don't want to be pissed off. I want to be, just keep asking the right questions. How can I use this time for my benefit, for my family's benefit, for the benefit of my community? How can I use this time to better myself, to get more in shape, to, create a new habit, to write a book?
Something. It's
empowering and growth oriented.
That's why I think that vision board thing is an interesting concept.
There's something there. You write it down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because if not, it just spins in our head. But that as soon as we write something down, an energy takes place from here to there, and you see it in physical form. And next thing you know, it becomes, its energy starts to conspire to create it, no matter what it is.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's see. I like the idea, that a perfect time to dive into contemplating and projecting the creative, positive future. Would love that class on creating a vision board. Yeah, let me get on that. Yeah. Let's see. It says, you're one idea away from creating abundance. That's that. Agreed.
What did Butterworth say? Butterworth takes that a step further and also says you're one idea away from all of the wealth of the universe.
Yeah.
And
it's just an idea.
Pretty rich.
Yeah. It's just an idea. Okay, here we go. Spectrum Cable, for those who have Spectrum Cable, page 9 or channel, where to go? 1943. Soundscape is our favorite TV during this time. So if you have Spectrum, turn on 1943. Thank you. I'll check that out. Actually, I'm gonna write that down because I forget about things like that. 1943. All right. Curious. I love these chats. I feel more personally connected to Dr. Joe and Reverend Charles. Are you continuing with any live streaming Sunday services? Absolutely. Oh, are you kidding? While you're here, everyone that's here, 10 o'clock every day, we have something going on. 10 o'clock every day, every single day, 10 o'clock. Our stream and anything that we have live streamed here ends up being uploaded onto YouTube. So if you miss it live, then you can always go back and grab it on YouTube. We've got like over 500 and almost 500 and some different things on YouTube for Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. So if you log into YouTube, Center for Spiritual Palm Desert, subscribe.
Yep.
Subscribe to it, and then every time something comes on, you'll get a notification saying we have uploaded something onto that channel. All right. Make each day a beautiful event. Set the table nicely. I know that's what we've been doing. All right, here. Excuse me. An idea for expansion to serve our Coachella Valley community. The daily communications the center is offering are so very powerful. I would suggest contacting the Desert Sun about creating an article in the Sunday giving section. Last Sunday, there was a feature of a C3 Palm Springs church. The center has an opportunity to be of service to our community in an expanded way. Yep, there you go, Elizabeth. There you go. Now, Elizabeth, I know you're listening. So contact the Desert Sun, let them know what we're doing. There we go. That's something Elizabeth could do for us.
Well,
All right. So Charles, take on the idea. I want you to take on the, I have a dog that just needs to go outside. She's scratching on the door. That's going to bother me. So I'm going to lock off for 2 seconds. Charles, take an idea and go with it for 2 seconds.
take an idea and go with it for 2 seconds.
How about, you know what? How about dealing with kids during this time? Because I think that's pretty important. How are you explaining this?
Oh, are we still going here? So I froze, somebody froze. Attention, it's attention, and it's not the easiest thing to share for sure. Jeff, would you just indicate that I can still be heard? I can see Dr. Joe's on my screen, but he's frozen there. I just want to make sure that we're still good to go here. I'll keep talking.
Everything's great.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, dealing with, it's just attention. And I'm certainly, as much as I'd like to think that I'm the perfect father, I know I'm far from it, even though I do my best. It's attention. It's, somebody mentioned blocks of time, there's still times when I need to work, when Mila's mom absolutely needs to work. And, it's so there, and even one of the frustrating parts is that school's done for the rest of the year. School's not going to start until at least September at this point. So the whole learning piece, but one of the cool things I think that's come out of this for us is we're not qualified, even though Julia's in education, and I'm certainly, I think, a pretty good teacher as far as adult education is concerned. We're not qualified to teach a 6-year-old. When it's just comedy. I'd rather just give her the answer than try and teach something through it. Maybe I don't have the patience for it. But what we're finding is that, we're cooking, and she's cooking with her mom, and so that there's how much goes into each recipe. Where she's created a store with all of her stuffed animals and some other gift items and sundries, and so she puts all her things out on her table. And I should actually walk you over there and show it. I'm not sure I'm going to. She'd get embarrassed, but. And then she built a cash register, out of cardboard, and said, "Daddy, make me some money." So I made, a bunch of 1s, 5s, 10s, and a couple of 20s, and we put them in the cash register, and then we each kind of got our allowance of money, and excuse me just for a moment. I apologize there, and then we talk about, how much does this cost? Well, this costs this much. It's $1, $5, $10, whatever. We share money, and then we count out change. So we're videotaping these things and then sending them to her teacher. So we're getting creative in those ways, because it's a little bit challenging for us with what we've got to sit down and teach math in a classroom setting. I guess we're just not really interested in it, not disciplined enough, or we just want to find other ways of learning. But that's one of the ways that we're getting creative and bonding as a family too, is finding so many different ways to continue education and have that happen, and also play and just have some fun.
It's funny because I remember when we were trying to teach Carly she'd come home with some math things. And of course, I'm doing it the way I learned how to do it, 50 years ago, right? She's like, "No, that's not how you do it." No, I'm like, we both came to the same conclusion. But no, Dad, that's not how you do it. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. The new way, I don't understand.
New math. Yeah, new math.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's confusing. But so
the whole thing I think I want to say about that, whether it's parenting or just being, or being with a parent, the frustrations can show up in different ways, or challenges or opportunities can show up in different ways. The whole thing that I'm seeing, one of the biggest things I'm pulling out of this is just the slow down process. Is just slowing everything down. Like, I was even thinking for a moment yesterday, my daughter and I were having an interaction, and I actually looked into her eyes for more than 5 seconds. Like I actually really looked into my offspring's soul instead of just the busyness and things. I actually looked into her eyes and saw her. And that just for a moment was such a healing moment, even so that can be with anybody, just that slowdown of when was the last time I actually looked into this person's that I'm spend so much time with? When was actually the last time I looked into their eyes and really with compassion and with love and saw them? And so just the whole slowing down thing has been really powerful for me.
Isn't it strange too when you go out into the community and everybody's wearing the mask and all you see are their eyes, and you're like, I wonder if I really, I mean, you wonder, you're like, who's under there?
Right? Yeah, totally.
Are they smiling? I wonder if I know this person. This person wouldn't know who I am. How would we know? I mean, it's the weirdest feeling when you're out there and you see that everybody's like, you're like, we're so not used to that, but all you see are their eyes. Well, that
Yeah.
and the fact that, you know,
Well,
I need Botox, but outside of that, you know,
well, it takes a layer of judgment away. How often do we judge, just by appearance of whether we'd want to interact with somebody or not?
yeah.
Just based on how they look or how they appear, instead of just, hey, we're part of the human family. All right, 6 feet away, but still, it's, just, hey, have you seen where are the carrots? Or, whatever. It's just,
It's a really strange feeling out there, but it's something but it's something to observe how we're relating to each other, how we're relating to people in the house. This is going to be that's on the other side of this. I can't wait to see how the universe works this out, because on the other side of this, there's going to be a lot of stuff. All right, here we go. Another question. Joe, how is the center doing financially during this difficult period? We're doing okay. Last week, not so good, but this week or weeks before that, we're a little bit better. I hope people continue to support us financially. We're, I don't want to say we're meeting all of our weekly income, because we're a little short every week. But so if people have the means to share, if you are working and you have the means to share, or you have, if you're financially secure and you have the means to share, we do ask that you continue to do that, so we can continue to do what we're doing, which is trying to keep all of our staff on payroll. We've made a commitment. People don't know this, maybe not know this. We have 27 people who take a paycheck from the church every week because of work that they do to keep the center going when we're in full swing. And we made a commitment, first thing, to not have our own people go without their ability to pay their rent or food or whatever they needed for their livelihood. So we've made a commitment to that, and we're sticking to it. And so we would love if people have the financial wherewithal to continue to support us generously. We know that we have been, for some people, they have said we've been a lifeline for them every week or every day. And we're hoping that people will see that. And if you have some people don't have the ability to share right now. But when you do come back into the financial flow, we would hope that you would go back and say, look, this is the thing that kept me going, and now I want to support it. We would like to see more people call the center and put their what their giving used to be on a credit card, so that we can put it on a monthly tithe, an auto tithe program. Yeah, so that way, an auto giving program, so that we can do that and feel a sense of security, knowing that whether people are there or not, we're covered. So yeah, no, we could definitely continue to use some help, and generosity of and any kind of gift that you can give is great. And if you've got something you can change or share, please, by all means, do that. All right, here we go. Let's see. It's a little freeing not being concerned about our hair color, nails, and all the things we spend time keeping up. Yeah.
I don't know, but I need a haircut bad.
I do too. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm starting to.
I'm gonna start flying away pretty soon.
I'm trying to keep the angle of my camera right, because I just feel like that.
There's some fun memes that have been floating around for sure about how we're all going to look.
Okay, here we go. Somebody said changing the word should to could puts us into a place of choice. Should is a direction from outside social norms, etc. Move to choice. I could do something and choose to do it, or choose not to do it. It's all choice. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, all choice. When people say I can't do that, what they're saying is I'm choosing not to do it. So yeah. I think it's all choice. So it is a word. It is a word choice. And sometimes I think I feel bad because I use the word should, but I should use the word could. I remember Frank Rishley did a talk called Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda. And it was always one of those things that I've always been trying to be aware of. But yeah, no, we're all at choice. We get to do whatever we want to do here. And we should on each other. You know? We shouldn't should on each other. There's a lot of, it's interesting to see the new terms that come from this. Like what Trey got a memo from work because in the cockpit, they have the ability to wear masks in the cockpit. And he, in the memo, it said, there will be no mask shaming. And I'm like, well, that's mask shaming. I've never heard of mask shaming before. Like, if you want to wear a mask or not wear a mask, there'll be no mask shaming. Okay, so we're being introduced to like a new set of circumstances. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. All right.
Yeah, another back to something that was just a couple of comments ago, talking about circulation and giving and flow. I encourage us all, it is vitally important to maintain somehow being in circulation and being in flow, because it's the nature of the universe. And part of the thing that's frustrating, I believe, overall, is all of the lockdown. And I understand on a very human, physical level why it's kind of everybody stay home. And at the same time, we see the frustration of the process of what's happening to our economy as well. Not only locally, but what's happening globally. It's a frustration of principle to shut down circulation. So that's why there's so much, it's another reason that's causing spiritual upheaval as well, because we're seeing that we're not in line with principle. And we need to be in line with principle. And so when we start to constrict, in the same way that if the heart constricts, what do we call it? It's a heart attack, and bad things come out of that. So whenever we start to constrict anything, look for the symptoms of dis-ease. And that's not the end game though, but it's part of the frustrating process of, and it's even what Michael Bogar referred to on Saturday, of passing through. So we're passing through this time right now of the economy, of some of our personal freedoms being thwarted, being constricted because of fear and panic and also a desire to protect. But there's going to be a consequence that comes out of any type of constriction. Bring that back down to the personal. Find ways to flow. There's no have-tos about the whole thing. You know, if you tithe 10% and 5% is what works right now, give 5. If you tithe 10 and your business is booming and you want to give 20, give 20. But somehow flow with your finances, with your words, with generosity. Again, just come back to circulation, giving and receiving, same posture, giving and receiving, same posture.
I have to laugh. Dr. Tom always used to say, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, don't build a condo, keep moving.
Don't build a condo. Don't build a condo.
Don't build a condo there. Just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Yep.
Let's see. We all look like minions. Glass, goggles, masks. Hilarious. If anyone would have told me this would have happened, I would not have believed it. You know, it's true. It is kind of funny. But you know what? Someone has just come up with an idea, and I haven't shared it yet, but one of our congregants is making masks, and he has the ability to screen print them. And he said, why don't we make Center for Spiritual Living, Changing One Lives One Heart at a Time, masks? Why not? Why shouldn't we be walking billboards in our spiritual truth? So I'm having a Zoom meeting with him this afternoon. We may be ordering masks for everybody and saying, here, if you have to wear a mask, hey, look, here you go.
I love it.
Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert, Changing One Lives One Heart at a Time. Now, who would have believed it? I mean, look, I wouldn't have believed it if you told me 6 weeks ago this is where we were going to be, or in February when the first thing started out. I remember saying to everybody, look, everybody just calm down, wash your hands, just do what we're being told to do. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Let's not overreact to it, but do whatever we're told to do and just keep doing it. And sure enough, I mean, I didn't know it was going to expand to this level, but we just keep doing. And I want to throw up a warning sign too. I am warning people who are becoming, you know, they're still 24/7 watching the news, and it's such a dangerous thing to do. It's such a dangerous thing to do because you get wrapped up in the severity of it, and even though your circumstance, you're safe, you're wrapped up in the severity of it, and it's taking over those emotions. So be very careful not to get wrapped up in, you know, the panic of it. Yes, that it does exist, and we pray for those people, and we pray for all the frontline people. But we also have to be careful not to become the energy of panic, because in our own homes, it's very difficult to deal with the energy of panic, especially if you're alone or even
Yep.
with someone else. It's very challenging to do.
Yeah.
It's very challenging to do.
If you're going to do Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, put the music on. That's another thing. That's another thing that I found that to be a game changer. In our own home, just a little suggestion. The silence in the house can sometimes be overwhelming. So many times, channel 1943, we heard that. I'll turn on, I will tell my Alexa app to just start turning on disco music, just so that I have something in the background that isn't the silence that keeps me into a headspace. It moves me out of a headspace. Okay,
Absolutely.
lots of comments. Let's see. Maybe this was a way for the universe to get us all to laugh out loud and how unnecessarily full of ourselves we've been. Love it. I want a few masks. People already want masks. Good. Let's mask. I'll buy masks. Oh, see, look, we've already got 4 buyers on the masks.
Hey.
All right. So now I got to figure. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
We got to figure out how to get masks to people without by following the CDC guidelines. You know.
Someone mentioned something about the Nicene Creed, and I grew up saying that every week, but many times a week too. And for the funny thing, I can remember little bits and pieces. I can't remember the whole thing right now, though. I'm actually interested in that because the metaphysical interpretation of the Nicene Creed, which came out of the Council of Nicaea, Catholicism, Christianity, et cetera, et cetera. But if we could table that, I'd investigate that and see what we can come up with, because it became like a poem, like poetry. Can anybody, Joe, do you have any familiar with it? No? Yeah.
No, I remember it in the recesses of my mind. I remember it, but it doesn't, I can't pull it up. But
I can't.
Whoever wrote that, we'll have it for you next week. Charles will do something on it next week, right, Charles?
I'm gonna look it up. Yep.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Yes, do the mask. Yes, do the mask. Yes, do the mask. Okay. You ever stand in line at the checkout and look at another person in line? You can laugh together about this, even though sometimes people want to cry. Yeah, it is. It's this. Yeah, I had a moment. I guess Easter was a hard day for me. I had a hard day on Easter. Easter was really tough. Easter was tough because I was so used to being around the congregation, you know, for 20 some years, having Easter services. And I just really wanted to I was emotional. And Trey and I did not prepare. We did not prepare from a grocery standpoint. And I missed having a Easter, the Easter ham, the whole thing. And I called all over to find out if maybe one of the local restaurants was doing some sort of Easter thing, and they weren't. So I was disappointed. I felt like, you know, anyway, it was hard. Sometimes you just want to cry. And the other day I just did. I just said, and I know, and I've had friends call me, especially friends who are living by themselves. So if you are living by yourself, make sure you find out, you find someone you can reach out to. And I have found that FaceTime, if you can FaceTime or Skype or actually see a person's face, it makes it so much easier. Makes it so much easier to do that. It does. It just does. Because that way you feel like you're connecting with someone and it's not so disconnected over the phone. So if you have the ability to do that, I encourage people to do that. Let's see.
What I think about that too, Dr. Joe, that's great, is that you noticed, you talked about this a week or two before too, about grieving, and that you noticed the grief that was there, and didn't in some way, medicate out of it or try and make it go away or push it down, but rather just emoted and grieved, had your moment of catharsis, and allow the energy to keep passing through it too. So I don't think that's a pass by that we should. I just want to acknowledge you, not that you need acknowledgement, but by way of saying to everybody, feel this feeling, let it move through you instead of lodging in someplace and creating more bitterness or resentment.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because if you don't express it, it will create illness. So we have to find ways to express that. Michael is named Saturday. Michael
Bogart. Yep.
Yeah, Michael said that on Saturday. And it's funny. I was listening to it. I couldn't engage on the video part of it. I was just listening auditory for the first little bit of it. But he was talking about how necessary it is for spiritual leaders to allow people to feel this and not get a Pollyanna view of, standing above it and transcending above it. It's like, no, you got to feel this. We will all transcend. We will all transform around it. But to ignore the feelings that we have, so everybody knows me. My whole ministry has been based on the fact that you just feel this. You just have to feel what you're feeling, because it's very real. We don't deny what we're feeling, but we do turn away into a healing as we release ourselves from the captivity of the current condition. Someone asked me, someone's asking about the songs at the center. Yes, we actually do. I have a CD. I don't know if you know this, Charles. We have you know what? Look, I'll show you right here. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. They're called Songs for the Soul, and they're available at CSL Palm Desert.
It is.
We created this. In My Awakening, Get Ready, My Soul, In the Silence, Show Me the Way. And then there's 2 James Taylor songs, Secret of Love, You've Got a Friend, and God is Love. Yes, we actually do have a CD at the center. I'm not sure. You could call the center and we could try to figure out a way to mail it to you or figure out something to do. But if you call the center, 760-346-4649, just call the center and we'll figure out a way to get it to you. And man, I had a lot of dark hair then. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, CD questions. Smile at every person you see on screen or in person when you see each other. Absolutely. I love reading the Bible stories of Jesus and then watching the Bible story on the History Channel at Easter. It helped. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, and you know what? That thing that we did on Saturday at 11 o'clock was really interesting too. We need to do more of that. Also, Karen Drucker is going to do a workshop. I talked to Karen. She's going to do a workshop on how to create a chant.
Oh, cool.
We're going to have her come and do a chant workshop. So I think you're going to start seeing us diversify even more. Let's see, tomorrow we've got all of the ministerial students doing, I forget what they're doing tomorrow, but it's a scramble. It's a ministerial student scramble.
It's a scramble. That's what it is.
So it's bound to be entertaining and wonderful. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you're going to hear from all of our ministerial students. So, and then on Thursday, Gary Lynn Floyd and I are doing a concert and a conversation like I did with Levi and with Karen. We're doing that on Thursday. Then Friday, we've got another Science of Mind lesson. Next week, you're doing Jamie Lula and a concert with him on Thursday. So every day at 10 o'clock, every single day at 10 o'clock, there is something going on at the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. Jeff Harrison from Spring Point Media, who's been a savior in this entire experience. He's just sent out an email for those of us who are not tech savvy on how to log into things.
That was great.
Especially a class, because on my class, you have to watch a video on one screen and then then the Q&A starts at a different screen. So you have to learn how to do that. It's really helpful that he handed that out to us. He's been, Swing Point Media, I swear, has been our lifesaver in this. We would have never done the things we could do that we've been doing without Jeff and his master expertise in all of these things. And yeah, we've had some tech issues and we're growing into it and we're learning, and God knows it kept me, drug me into it. But let's see.
And also too, Dr. Joe, while you're reading that one, we've just had brief conversations about what things are going to look like when we can congregate together again, and figuring that puzzle piece out too. So yeah, we want to be able to get together for classes at the center and Sunday mornings, but also that wonderful puzzle of how we're going to continue to maybe continue with online offerings going forward.
Yeah.
to keep a cycle alive in whatever way works for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a captive audience right now, and so I think a lot of things that people are involved, but I think we definitely going to have to keep our now there's a level of expectation for content, so we will make sure that that content continues to be made available. Let's see, this is actually awesome. I'm more involved now than before, so I'm glad to hear that. I you know what, we're averaging, Jeff, how many people do we have online today? Have we had online?
60?
60?
Looks like 60. He just posted up.
Oh, cool. 60 people. Then we had 57 yesterday. So we have a pretty consistent group.
Yep.
You know, most centers for spiritual living have a congregation of 50 to 60 people, you know, and we have it in a virtual congregation. I know that we've had a lot of people watch our services on Sunday in the concerts. I don't know how many people watched it, but let's see, another comment. Perfect way to bring about growth, and like the way you said, to slow down, stop and smell the roses. Absolutely. People are saying, wonderful, thanks. I started to attend CSL in December and I'm so happy that I found you. Thank you for it. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. Winston Churchill said that. Yep. Thank you. I love your comments. I love you, Charles. I love what we're doing here.
It's good. We're blessed.
So tomorrow, join the ministerial students on their at 10 o'clock, jazz hands, 10 o'clock.
For the scramble.
For the scramble. Call the center for one of these. I will talk to our people about creating a mask. I'm not sure if we should just say Center for Spiritual Living, changing lives one heart at a time. So we'll see what we have.
What if it's one of those talk bubbles, you know, where it actually says changing lives one heart at a time? So it's like it looks like we're saying it. Somehow it's being communicated, you know what I mean? Without saying it. Center for Spiritual Living. No, we get headbands too. That's what they say. Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. Changing lives. Hey, I'm an idea man here. I want to roll with it.
All right, it says, let's see. Do you and Reverend Charles find this helpful mentally for you guys? Well, yeah, absolutely. It's nice. I tell you what, though, what's challenging for me, and I faced it yesterday, was when, and maybe you did this because teaching the class yesterday, when it's just me on a screen looking at a screen. And that's just a different thing when for 20 some years, I've been in front of people and having being able to draft off their energy, interact and exchange that energy. And so like on Easter Sunday, when I'm standing in my office and I'm talking to a computer screen and not having that interaction, it just feels different. It's a different experience for me, but you know, we're happy for it. Me too, very blessed. See you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, no pun intended. Yes. See you at the same time, same place. So blessings to you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Joe, are the ministerial students still on the subsequent Wednesdays having a block every Wednesday, the 6th of them?
Yeah, tomorrow is all 6.
Yeah.
And then starting the week after that, each ministerial student, because of their training, was required to do some sort of a service. And so I've told them on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, each ministerial student will have the ability to do a presentation. It meets their requirement to meet their graduation. So we sort of had, you know, this is sort of an unexpected time, an unexpected way to do it. But yeah, they have to do that. And so starting the following week, we'll be doing that. So that starts the following Wednesday. So every Wednesday it's Ministerial Student Day. We already have t-shirts. We have t-shirts, but yes. People are already putting their requests for the type of fabric. Yeah. We love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's close our eyes just for 1 minute. Take a deep breath in. And let's just know that something wonderful just happened here today, in this moment, in this time together, we had an opportunity to express, to experience, and expand our awareness into a greater day, a greater vision for what our day and the days ahead look like for each and every one of us. And so we move into this day with grace and ease, knowing that something wonderful did occur, that an idea was born into your experience. The seed has been planted and now will manifest in beautiful and loving ways. For the time together, for Jeff, for Swing Point Media, for Reverend Charles, and for all of you who join us, we thank you very much. We bless you. We know that this perfect day unfolds for you, and so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.